Welcome back, listeners, to Occult Archives. We're your host, diving deep, no, like really deep into the stories behind history's most, shall we say, notorious
Yeah,
books.
notorious is a good word for him. Today, we're going full-on secret society, unearthing those oh-so-tantalizing mysteries surrounding initiation, hidden knowledge, and, well, let's be honest, a bit of the good old occult.
Sounds right up our alley, doesn't it? We're cracking open Brother of the Third Degree by Will L. Garver, first published back in 1894. We're working with the Global Gray ebook from 2024, the one with that captivating cover art, The Dance of the Hours.
Beautiful artwork. Always love that piece.
Yeah.
And for our listeners, think of this deep dive as your cheat sheet to understanding it all. We're cutting through the noise, getting right to the juicy core.
Exactly. No need to wade through pages and pages. We gotcha.
Yeah.
So, Brother of the Third Degree, it throws us right into the deep end with young Alfonso. And his childhood, it's steeped in this, well, almost mythologized idea of the Brotherhood. Not just any Brotherhood, mind you, but one of the Third Degree.
Third degree. Has a certain ring to it, doesn't it? And his parents, they weren't exactly downplaying it, talking about these members like they were superhuman, incredible knowledge, maybe even powers, and get this, almost otherworldly beauty. Who wouldn't be captivated?
Especially a young mind like Alfonso's, him and his sister, Esmeralda. But there was this very big caveat, the golden rule, you might say.
Secrecy, right. Absolute secrecy. Alfonso's father, he drills it into them. Whatever you hear, whatever you see, keep it under wraps. Not a word to anyone. Unless, of course, the higher-ups say so.
That's a recurring theme, isn't it, in these esoteric traditions, this emphasis on secrecy, like they're protecting something immensely powerful, almost like they're afraid of it being misused, makes you lean in, doesn't it?
Definitely. And then we get this dramatic shift. One Wednesday evening, Alfonso's father, he's a big deal in the Masonic Lodge, right? Grand Preceptor, no less. So Wednesday, it's lodge night. But this time, he comes home with a stranger. Not exactly the welcome wagon type.
This guy, he sounds straight out of a Gothic novel. Tall, thin, moves with this almost unsettling grace. Garber describes him with these piercing, steel blue eyes, pale, sharp features, brown curly hair, and whiskers. But it's the details, those little things that really get you. He never takes off his gloves, and his voice, it's like a whisper, but it sends shivers down your spine.
Yeah.
And he avoids, like, any physical contact, just goes straight to the laboratory, stays there. Alfonso's mother, she even brings him his meals.
Yeah, not your average dinner guest.
Yeah.
And that night, it's chaos for the household. Kids, Alfonso and Esmeralda, they're left with the maid. Their father and this mysterious stranger, plus the usual lodge crowd, they all disappear into the lab. The mother. Difficult work, she says. Gotta wait till tomorrow.
Talk about vague. For a kid, especially Alfonso, who's clearly got this inquisitive mind, that's just fuel for the fire. And then he has this dream, vivid, almost prophetic, a monastery high up in the fountain, surrounded by snow. And then, bam, these scenes of historical battles just flash before his eyes. Xerxes, Persia, Greece, then Martel, Poitiers. Not exactly your run-of-the-mill dream imagery.
Definitely not. And the next morning, this stranger, his name's Alvarez, he's like some kind of spiritual master, right?
Yeah.
He says these cryptic things to the kids. To Alfonso, it's, brother of yesterday and tomorrow, your course is fixed. And then to Esmeralda, he says, child sister of the Orient in Western form, thou too shalt return. Esmeralda, she's clearly taken aback.
Rightfully so. But here's the thing. Alfonso's parents, they say they didn't see anything. No visions, nothing. Just their kids staring intently in Alvarez's voice.
Right. Almost like his words had like this direct impact on the kids,
Yeah.
bypassing the parents entirely. And then Garver, he throws in this whole idea of past lives. Alfonso's parents, they explain it, saying Alvarez, he had this power to see past existences. And the soul, they say, it's eternal, goes through this cycle of lives, different countries, different times.
It's this whole concept of like a soul journey, right? A journey that spans lifetimes. So everything you're experiencing now, it carries this weight of, well, forever. And they say, join the Brotherhood, reach those higher levels, and boom, you can unlock those hidden memories. It's like the ultimate self-discovery.
And the ultimate goal, to become like those masters they keep talking about. It's a pretty powerful hook.
It is. And then things, they shift. The next Wednesday, no lodge meeting. Alfonso's father, he's just like, my duty's done. My quote-unquote charge has been transferred. Vague. Much.
Totally. But you can see how all this secrecy, the talk of powerful masters, the promise of unlocking hidden knowledge, it really gets to Alfonso. The Brotherhood becomes like this obsession. He's constantly thinking about it.
And then time jumps forward. Alfonso, he's coming of age. His father drops this bombshell. A friend, Monsieur Garcia, he's been studying at this secret school in Paris. He's coming back. And Alfonso, he's going with him. to try and get in, learn all those secret things Garcia can't even talk about.
But there's a catch. Alfonso's father, he's like, look, being my son, it helps.
Yeah.
But you got to earn it. Tests, exams, even for the basic stuff. You're not getting a free pass.
Merit over privilege, right. It just adds to the whole mystique of this school. They're serious about it. You got to be worthy. And then the father, before they leave, he gives Alfonso this whole, like, life lesson, you know, focuses on brotherhood, love. And there's this big organization dedicated to making that stuff universal, real, not just talk. He specifically mentions this Asclepian school, totally secret, only the best, the most virtuous people get in. Sounds pretty exclusive.
Super exclusive. And the father, he's not just talking about academics. He's like, don't tell anyone anything. Don't get caught up in worldly stuff, all that glitter and drama. Cultivate real love, pure love, for all that's good, all that's true, and marriage. He says, find someone on the same path, maybe even at the school, a brother or sister. Sounds like a pretty specific dating profile, right? But there's this wisdom to it. Choose wisely, he's saying. Find someone who gets it. Cultivate that pure love. Learn first, marry later. And remember, this life, it's just a prep course. He even says that loving your wife, your children the right way, it'll ignite your soul, lead you to universal love and wisdom. The whole thing culminates in this deeply emotional farewell. Alfonso, he sees a halo around his father's head, just like he did with his mother. They're like almost saintly figures to him. And on the journey to Paris, Monsieur Garcia, he lets slip this intriguing bit. He starts talking about invisible workers, influencing the world through natural channels, but in secret. He even hints that the English throne is being, well, kind of manipulated by them. Sounds a bit conspiratorial, right?
A little bit, yeah. It's this whole idea of a hidden world, right? Where things aren't what they seem. And then, boom, a stranger shows up, the conversation ends abruptly. It's like they can't even talk about it openly.
Exactly. Super secretive. And Alfonso, his fascination with the Brotherhood, it just keeps growing. He's desperate to understand their powers, how their society works. This thirst for knowledge, it's driving him.
And then we meet M. Durant. This guy's cold. No warmth, no sympathy, complete opposite of Alfonso's parents. Then a letter arrives from his father. And wow, it's intense. He's like, remember everything I taught you? Strive for that higher life. Don't fall for earthly distractions, trials and tribulations. They make you stronger. Rely on your inner self. Seek solitude. Meditate. Trust those guiding you to the Brotherhood. We'll meet again in this universal band, and his signature. Ferdinand Colono, .tr.ri. Those symbols are not your average John Hancock.
Definitely adds to the mystery. And Alfonso, he gets all emotional, understandably so. But Durant, he's like, get a grip. Joy, sorrow, it's all the same. One and the same. Pretty stoic, right?
Very. And then Durant he hands him another letter. Don't open it till you're alone, he says. It probably has your answer about the Brotherhood. And whatever you learn, keep it secret. Absolutely secret. Alfonso swears he will. Then Durant drops this. Oh, by the way, your birthday. June 5th, 7:45 a.m., Leo. Your parents, they knew esoteric astrology. They kept a register.
Esoteric astrology. It's not your daily horoscope stuff. This is deep, soul-level stuff, right? Past lives, destiny, the whole 9 yards. That birth info is not just a date, it's like a cosmic fingerprint to them.
It is. And when Alfonso finally gets to that letter, the envelope itself, it's like something out of a movie. Linen, super strong, sealed with this wax stamp, and it's got all these symbols, interlaced triangles with an Egyptian tau, circled by a serpent biting its tail. And get this, a Chaldean swastika.
Those symbols, they're not random. Triangles, the tau, serpent, swastika. They all carry deep meanings in esoteric traditions. Balance, life, cosmic forces. It's a glimpse into the complex belief system of the Brotherhood.
And the note inside. Written in a woman's hand, Midorima Petrovna, it says, your application, it's a yes. My carriage will be there this afternoon. Come with me. Bring this note. Don't ask questions. And her signature, it's got a perforated 5-pointed star, like a secret code or something.
Very cloak and dagger. Alfonso's head must have been spinning. He's lost his father, reconnected with his mother, and now he's on the fast track to joining this mysterious Brotherhood. Talk about a life change. And then he goes back to his father's letter and notices this weird thing. There's an embossed triangle after the signature, and it starts to, like, disappear right before his eyes.
Spooky, right? Alfonso's freaking out a little. Am I being messed with? Is this magic? He's questioning everything. He remembers reading in some occult book that you're surrounded by powers that match your thoughts. And then he hears this inner voice saying, don't worry, you're good, you're pure.
Interesting, right. Like, his pure thoughts are his protection against these unseen forces. It's a core concept in a lot of occult systems. Your inner state affects the outer world.
And to calm down, he decides to go for a walk. Runs into Camille, and she's like, let's go for a drive. He agrees, maybe needing a break from all this weirdness. They end up at an art gallery, and things get, well, even weirder.
Oh, yeah. This General Corot, he's the Secretary of War, and some other government officials are there with this Oriental man. They order this magnificent painting to be covered up, taken down. Some unusual indiscretion by the artist, they say. Zeral's his name.
And this Oriental guy, he's like, even a little knowledge of this painting could be dangerous. He's talking about inspecting all future artworks personally. And get this, Alphonso. He gets it. He understands what's going on with the painting, symbols, and all that because of his studies, but he can't say anything, bound by his oath of secrecy.
Alfonso's caught in the middle, right? His knowledge versus his promise.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder about the reach of this brotherhood. Are they influencing the government? Are they everywhere?
Chilling thought. Alfonso goes home, waits for Madame Petrovna. He's thinking about Zeral, about the government connections, a lot to process. And then a card arrives, just MP on it, and the hallboy announces, "Carriage at the gate."
Showtime. He gets in the carriage, and there she is, Madame Petrovna.
Yeah.
Dressed in black, veils, but with these beautiful white hands, young hands. And Alfonso, he immediately feels at ease.
She's like, "So you weren't happy with college, huh? Not enough for you." Getting straight to the point.
And Alfonso, he's honest. He says, yeah, it's all surface level. Doesn't satisfy the mind that wants to know the truth, the real nature of things.
"You've got a philosophical mind," she says. Then she throws out this line, "Alone you can do little, but as an instrument of the infinite, then you can do much." Deep, right? Like giving up your will for something bigger.
Surrender to the higher purpose, yeah.
Ah.
And then, bam, out of nowhere, tell me your exact birth date and hour.
Alfonso, thanks to M. Durant, he's got it down pat, told her everything. No surprise on her face. She writes it down in this little book, gives him a card with an address. "Be there tomorrow, 9 sharp. Alone. Tell no one. Bring this card."
Secrecy and precision. Always. And she has this veiled guy take him through a side hall. And this hall, it's full of portraits. Men, women, all nationalities. And there, hanging on the wall, life-size portraits of his parents. Both of them.
Alfonso, he can't help himself. He cries out in surprise. The guy doesn't say a word, just motions for him to keep going. Back in the carriage, Madame Petrovna, she asks about it. He tells her he saw his parents.
All high-degree members are there, she says. You want your picture there, too.
And Alfonso, without missing a beat, he's like, "Sure." And she's like, "Oh, honey, you have no idea what you're saying." Then she drops this bomb. "Can I be there?" "No. Anyone with thoughts of love, they can't have their picture there. Hard for women, you know. We're born to love." Heavy stuff.
Right. There's this tension, this potential conflict between personal love and the goals of the brotherhood. Sacrifice, it seems, is a part of the deal.
It makes Alfonso think of his mother, how much she loved, and Madame Petrovna, she says, she had to sacrifice that love. And it all connects back to that sad farewell on the steamer. Alfonso, he's close to losing it, all these mysteries piling up. But his companion, it's like they sense it, they calm him down somehow.
There's this unspoken connection, this awareness of each other's emotions. Almost psychic.
Next, Alfonso gets a card. M. Raymond, E.E. Turns out that means exoteric examiner. He passed, ready for more lessons. And the guy, he tells Alfonso, "You're going to study man, socially, individually, as a being, starting with yourself, no bias."
Self-knowledge, the foundation of it all. Then, boom, the duality of man, the male and female principles within each person. He even uses Genesis to explain it. But he says in men, the male part dominates, the female part subservient.
And here's the kicker. The biggest step in this whole occult initiation thing, bringing those two sides into balance, the union of man and woman, mind and heart. He even warns about the dangers, right? The mind without the heart, cold, materialistic. The heart without the mind, blind faith, fanaticism.
Gotta have both. Reason and conscience. That's where the true enlightenment is. And how do you achieve that balance? Well, according to him, every man needs a woman. Lawful, consecrated love.
He says through that union, men unlock their female nature, women unlock their male nature, and boom, you've got balance. That apparently is the whole point of this ball Alfonso is going to. It's not what you think.
Not just a social gathering. And he contrasts this with monks. They cultivate pure love, but they're celibate. Alfonso needs that union with his sister from the Brotherhood. He says, choose with your heart, but keep it pure.
Destiny.
Right.
It makes Alfonso think about his parents, about finding that soulmate. He wonders, is this where I meet her? And his thoughts, they drift to that woman in black. He's drawn to her, but he doesn't know why.
And the teacher, he then moves on, starts talking about Hermes, Trismegistus, Paracelsus, Jacob Boehme, Eliphas Levi, Madame Blavatsky, all those big mystical names. Alfonso is supposed to know their work, but the teacher says only a few truly understand what's hidden there. He then spends 2 hours unveiling those hidden meanings, the stuff Alfonso's father hinted at but wouldn't reveal. You gotta learn it the right way, he said.
And then, suddenly, it all stops. A single chord of music. Scene change. It's Alfonso's 54th night. He shows his card to this veiled woman, then to the patriarch, the head honcho, gets the nod, then the woman points him to a hidden door. Small, white room. The patriarch and the woman, they follow him in.
Yeah, the woman, she gets right to it. Give me your full confidence, she says. Then how did you know about stuff only 6th degree members should know, the esoteric examiner told us.
And Alfonso, he doesn't even hesitate. Meditation, he says. Inward concentration on the spirit. It's like the answer just pops out. He even surprises himself.
They're intrigued. But the patriarch, he warns him. That stuff, it's dangerous if you're not ready.
I am ready, Alfonso says. I want knowledge. Pure and simple.
They question him more about his life. Is it pure? Any selfish ambition? Why does he want this knowledge?
Because it's the soul's nature to seek, Alfonso says. And then he promises, I'll never use it for evil, for myself. The self is dead. It comes out so strong it even freaks him out a little.
Big commitment. The patriarch asks, what about power? The power knowledge brings, what would you use it for?
For others, Alfonso says, for truth. And he keeps assuring them, only for good, when I know it's right, never carelessly.
They're testing him. How much power have you learned, they ask. Do you have self-control?
I think so, Alfonso says, thinking about that woman in black. Like she's been a test all along. But then he admits, maybe I'm not perfect. My heart, it can be weak, especially when it comes to love. To my parents, too. He trails off.
And the woman, like she read his mind, she asks, have you ever loved?
He talks about his family, how much he loves them, hesitates a bit before saying lover, and the woman, she's like, and not as a lover.
Putting him on the spot.
He's hesitant. There's this sister, he says. I don't know her, but she affects me, strangely. She's always in black, never shows her face.
Then the patriarch, he abruptly changes the subject. How did you learn that man is 7 minus 2? Weird question, right?
Alfonso explains, I was meditating, deep meditation, and it was like a dream. I traveled east, saw the snowy range, then I was a student in this crypt learning all these mysteries. But when I woke up, all I remembered was that one thing, and the dream.
Like all his life, he's felt this inner pull, this strange inward activity, as he calls it. And now it's making him speak things he doesn't fully understand.
And his questioners, they're like, welcome to the 6th degree. That woman, she's your teacher.
And the patriarch, he hushes them. 2 paths from here, he says. Both lead to the 7th degree. Wear a mask until you choose. Then go to the hall, a friend awaits.
Alfonso goes to the hall, masked up, dressed as a knight. Second waltz is playing. He sees a nun, all in white, veiled. She touches his arm, and he feels that same, electric jolt.
Still sanctioning war, Sir Knight, she asks, even with all that talk of honor.
He tells her, women like you, your voices, you could bring peace. He defends the knights, says they fight for virtue, for love.
And the nun, she fires back. Remember your past lives, Sir Knight, those honorable knights. They fought for us, sure, then stole us away. The age of form isn't the age of soul. We've been here before, many times.
It hits Alfonso hard, past and present blurring together. He feels it in his soul. She finishes her statement, her hands, they're trembling, reaching for his. And her gaze, it's intense. He can't speak. Lost memories, they start flooding back. Her words, they click.
He wants to embrace her, claim her, like they were lovers in a past life. But he holds back, just manages to ask, is it true? Did our love bring us back together?
Pure love, she says, is eternal. What does your soul say?
Heavy question. And Alfonso, he's honest. My soul, it's clouded. I can't see clearly. This physical form, it dims my spirit vision.
The next degree, she says, it'll bring clarity. You'll remember. Are you part of that degree? He asks.
By right, yes. By choice, I am here.
And Alfonso, he's like, let's do this together. Join forces.
But she gets serious. Takes his hands. Do you mean it? Are you strong enough?
Alfonso, he pours his heart out. With you, I'm strong enough for anything.
But she lets go, steps back. We shall see, she says. The 6th degree, it demands much. I'll be your teacher next meeting. Then, it's late. Go meet the other brothers and sisters. She starts to leave. And for the first time, Alfonso's got a selfish thought. Brother, he thinks, I wish there was a dearer word.
Be a knight now, she says as they head back into the hall. Everyone's chatting, mingling, study time's over. And Alfonso, he finds himself looking for that peasant girl he met before, just out of curiosity.
His companion, they notice. Who are you looking for? They ask.
A kind peasant sister, he says.
And then, in that same peasant girl voice, the peasant has become a nun.
Alfonso's jaw drops. You were playing a part. Yes.
Successfully, she replies. And Alfonso, he's left wondering, was that nun? Was she playing a part too? Who is real?
And on that note, listeners, we wrap up our first foray into Brother of the Third Degree. Will L. Garver, he throws us right into this world of secrets, doesn't he? Alfonso's childhood, those cryptic messages, the rituals, the teachings. It's all setting the stage for, well, an initiation like no other.
We've only just begun to peel back the layers. There's so much more to explore.
And it really gets you thinking, doesn't it? About the allure of secret societies, about hidden knowledge, about the sacrifices we make for love, for truth, and this question of who we are, really. Are we who we think we are, or is there something deeper?
Big questions. And we leave you with this. Think about Alfonso, his journey so far. All that talk about inner strength, about balancing the mind and the heart. What do you think will be most important for him as he continues down this path? That balance, is it the key?
Something to ponder, listeners. And if you're intrigued, if you want to uncover more secrets, we urge you to check out Brother of the Third Degree for yourself. Alfonso's journey, it continues. He's got the woman in black, the mysterious ILA, those higher degrees, all waiting. And we'll be back next time to delve into another fascinating tale of hidden knowledge. Until then, stay curious.